This is Wake, Chicago. There's a shooting that just happened in Chicago. It's happening right now. They got a hospital, Mercy Hospital, I believe. Hang on, I'm listening to it. Hang on. They're still searching this hospital, as far as I could tell. That's a picture of the hospital on the screen. That's Mercy Hospital. They're searching it now. It looks like multiple victims, from what I could tell. I believe this happened around 3:30-ish. Yeah, they're still shutting streets down, so I don't think they caught the guy yet. So we'll stay live here until they catch this guy. I'm right back. Kind of caught off guard here. Okay, they're telling people where they need to be, telling the crowds where to go. That's video, I believe, the officer that may have been shot. That's why it's getting an escort. That's probably a replay. I heard initially an officer was shot. And that's usually what's why are you getting an escort like that? Hang on one second, I gotta get my headphones. Like I said, this was not expected, of course. Okay. Alright, we're back here. This is Wake, Chicago. I'm back. Scott Wagner. I'm looking for a piece of equipment I can't find, but that's alright. Look at that scene. Jeez. Going back to the scanner here. Hang on. I do not believe they caught him yet. Hang on, let me see what's going on there. Give me one more second. Alright, I'm back. Yeah, I'm still. This is the best view I got right now that I could find. And what we got is, let's see. There's been a shooting at the hospital. It's Mercy Hospital. It's the south side of Chicago. There's an officer's uniform. Looks like maybe 2 uniforms on the ground. Yeah, this is, something happened here. I'm listening to the radio traffic. That's why I'm a little sidetracked there. Hang on. Oh, wrong one. That's the wrong thing. Hang on. It's only, see if there's any updates here. Yeah, officer shot. There we go. Chicago officer shot, multiple victims after active shooter incident at Mercy Hospital. Like I said, that's on the south side of Chicago. Chicago police said an officer was shot and there were multiple victims during an active shooter incident at Southside Hospital. Officers said a suspect was shot after they responded to the scene at Mercy Hospital on 2525 South Michigan Avenue just before 3:30. Yeah, that's what I said, 3:30. Officer injured was in critical condition. According to CPD, you saw that escort. He was in. That's not good. No further information there. They're still looking right now. Here's the Twitters that you posted here. Large scale emergency response, of course. And they're saying assault rifle. Yes. Yeah, something's going on. Hang on, I'm listening on the other radio. It says the officer's been shot in the active shooter incident at Mercy Hospital. He is in critical condition but receiving good care or excellent care. Send your prayers. Officers are doing a methodological search of Mercy Hospital. At least one possible offender is shot. Hang on. What is that? Yeah, they're calling for more units near 33rd in Michigan. This happened at 26th in Michigan. So something's going on a few blocks away from there. Hang on. Well, 31st in Michigan. Go back to the video here. They're at a. Oh, they're doing a search of the. Okay, I'm hearing two different units. Hang on. See, they're still searching the hospital right now. So we got guys. There's guys on the outside searching, and they're still trying to clear out the hospital. Hang on. Yeah, I don't want to say where they're at. I'm trying to block it. I got to find my headphones. I'll be right back. I don't want this going out live. Hang on. Okay. All right, I can't find my headphones, so they might be in the vehicle from the last video I did. I'm just gonna turn this down. I don't want this going like this live. I guess there's a lot of people that saw this, according to what they're talking about. Let me see something here. Hang on. Let's see if this is will change here. Hang on.
662, we really need traffic blocked on Prairie 27. There's a lot of cars coming through here, messing up the scene.
All right, we need a unit on 27th and Prairie. We have cars coming through. Available unit, please go to 27th and Prairie. Do we have any available bike units that can go? We need traffic stopped at 27th and Prairie.
This is interesting. Okay.
And she did not believe that the officers inside that vehicle were hit, but as we've been reporting, police confirming that there was a police officer that was struck by gunfire and is in critical condition but receiving excellent care. That police officer was inside Mercy Hospital. Also talked to a woman by the name of Nigeri Thompson, who was working in a clinic area just off of that lobby. She reported hearing at least 8 to 10 shots, saw blood near an elevator in the lobby, and so these individuals, these witnesses we've been talking to over the last hour or so, describing just a really dire situation, a very dangerous situation playing out around 3 o'clock here at Mercy Hospital. And so at this point, as I mentioned, we're awaiting perhaps some sort of preliminary briefing, initial briefing. I did see a spokesperson with Chicago Police News Affairs walking around just in the last 30 seconds here. So hopefully they will be giving us some additional official information here in the next few minutes, gathered here at 26th and Michigan.
Okay, Eric,
back to you guys now.
Very much appreciate that. Bringing you back now, this is a live picture from Chopper 7 HD, just to reiterate that this remains an active situation. We are now just about an hour after those very first reports came in this afternoon of shots being fired at or around Mercy Hospital, and we are still seeing people coming out with their arms up, and as Chicago police continue to search this entire hospital compound.
Yeah, they called it a methodical search, and Chuck had mentioned this is a large facility, so it's going to take time, but we did just see live there, as you were watching with us, people still coming out with their hands in the air. That injured Chicago police officer officer, we're told in critical condition, was taken by police escort in an ambulance to the University of Chicago Hospital. We've got a crew headed that way. We want to check that condition of that man as we get more information. Now there's a staging area at 26th and Michigan. That's where Eric said he was going. We're hoping to get a update, as he mentioned, from Chicago Police. We'll bring that to you live as we get more details on what exactly unfolded.
And another note right now, 27th and King Drive. That is now the location for any family members who are wanting to get more information or want to connect with your loved ones who may have been inside Mercy Hospital at this time. Again, that's at 27th and King Drive. Chicago Police are advising people to not go to Mercy Hospital right now. That the entire compound remains on lockdown as they continue to do this search.
You may be able to get in touch with your loved one, but we heard a witness say, and we saw this, some CTA buses have been brought down to the scene. Police are putting some of those potential witnesses into those buses because they may have important information to share with investigators as they slowly try to piece together what exactly happened. So Chopper 7 HD pulling out for us, and then you can see at least 3 of those CTA buses. We've watched what appeared to be employees or people who were inside the hospital get on those buses or be taken over there. We can't tell you.
I'm watching this live.
At least one offender has been shot. Chicago Police confirming that an offender has been shot, but we don't have many more details on that.
All right, going to bring Chuck Gowdy back in right now from the
Listening to things over time, so
you don't hear about this or think about it very often at a hospital, a place that gives care, but the Chicago Fire Department had to put an EMS Plan 3 into effect, Emergency Medical Services Plan 3, which brings out 15 ambulances to the scene of any kind of violent crime or shooting or emergency, and that's what's happened here. Even though it's a hospital where ambulances presumably are on the scene or come to deliver people, the fire department had to actually put a plan into effect that would bring 15 ambulances at least to the scene. Some of them were being used to transport people who were in the ER. At least one we saw was being used to transport that critically wounded Chicago policeman, and then others are still here waiting to transport those who may be found or in need of some kind of immediate care. There are numerous oddities when things like this happen. That's just one of them.
Stand by with us. I know your team is getting more information as we speak, but right now I believe we also have some radio traffic that we are hearing that carried some of the sounds from the scene. Here it is.
There's 1367, is that correct? This one's Sergeant Company. Got someone barricaded in room number 1367 on the first floor. They don't know. They don't know. They can't get the door open. Somebody's barricaded in that room.
Listening to some radio traffic as this unfolded. There's no department better in this country to cover something like this. They immediately put a plan into place. You could hear they wanted teams of 4 to start going through the hospital to find out if it was that shooter barricaded in that ER or it could have been just people running for their lives.
Again, the latest information we have right now, multiple people injured in this active shooting situation, including a Chicago police officer who last reported was in critical condition on the way to University of Chicago Hospital. A partial evacuation happening continues to happen right now at Mercy Hospital. We continue to see people coming out. We are now slightly more than an hour after first reports came in. We continue to see people coming out with their hands above their heads. Police are telling loved ones to meet at 27th and King Drive. If you cannot get in touch with somebody that you are hoping to connect with, as Rob was mentioning earlier, we do see buses also parked parked outside, where they are bringing some of these eyewitnesses onto so that the police officers have a chance to connect with them as well.
This is going to be a methodical search of that hospital, according to the police, and we've seen people still coming out with their hands in the air, escorted to those buses or certainly to safety. Mercy Hospital, let's explain where this is. If you have friends or family who work there, you know this is on the near south side at 26th and South Michigan Avenue, not far from McCormick Place, and right next to, here's the map of the Stevenson when you come in to get on Lakeshore Drive, north or south. So that tells you where this is, really just east or a little southeast of Chinatown, Mercy Hospital, 26th and Michigan Avenue.
A huge parking lot area that we could see from the aerial view from Chopper 7 HD, and that is where multiple witnesses have now said is how this incident first unfolded, somewhere in that parking area. And then it is the same parking area that we saw staff and employees coming out with their hands above their heads, and then they're making their way past that parking area onto some of the buses that you can see at the very bottom of your television screen right now. Our teams of reporters have been on the ground talking to some of these witnesses, describing just the chaos and the horror that happened in front of their eyes, and then of course just...
Okay. I'll leave this video up. It's the best coverage so far. Yeah, this is sad. I don't know how many victims they're not saying. They're not saying it on the radio, so they're being real hush on everything. That one witness on the news there, I said they heard at least 8 to 10 shots. It sounded like that would sound like a clip. It could be a handgun. Then it looks like something was happening right there where that police car is sitting. Because the other one pulled up alongside. Looks like to give him cover is probably why that car's on an angle. See the uniform shirt, and it looks like a bulletproof vest is over by that front left tire of the gray, or whatever color that squad is. Or that's where they maybe pulled him out to treat him. I don't know. I'm just guessing. But they had that all roped off, so... I don't know if that started outside is all I'm trying to say. It's hard to tell if that was inside or outside. It looks like it happened there, otherwise they would have that whole section blocked off wherever it would have happened. Let's see what this guy's update is.
Taken to University of Chicago Hospital. In the last few minutes, we've received confirmation that Chicago Police will be holding its first press briefing at University of Chicago, perhaps shortly, to give us an update not just on that officer, but exactly what took place here at Mercy Hospital around 3 o'clock this afternoon. In the meantime, we've been talking to multiple witnesses who were just outside in the parking lot as well as inside the hospital at the time that those gunshots were fired. We're hearing multiple encounters of gunfire, not just outside but inside the hospital. We talked to one man by the name of James Gray.
Yeah, it started outside.
A woman being shot outside the hospital, shot at least 3 times, and then ended up on the ground, was shot 3 more times by a man who she appeared to know. We're going to let you listen now to James Gray, who was there inside the hospital.
It's a domestic.
Basically, I was just here waiting for my mother to get out of the hospital, and we heard about 20, 30 shots. Just coming from that direction.
Damn.
Saw a couple ambulances just scattering, people just running, so I was in my truck just trying to keep
Sounds like a domestic.
Get hit with any shots in case there was a stray.
20 or 30 shots, it was just one after another?
It sounded like it was one clip unloaded, and then a couple shots here and there, and then another full clip.
We've been hearing from multiple witnesses.
That does not sound good the way they just described that shooting.
Seeking cover, hiding in areas just to sort of get out of harm's way. We talked to one man who didn't want to go on camera. He said he was too shaken up after what had taken place. He describes a number of people in a nurse's lounge barricading themselves inside that nurse's lounge until they got a sense that things were safe. So we're hearing those types of stories here at Mercy Hospital, a situation where an individual opened fire. We're told by James Gray. He described the weapon as a 9mm handgun. Initial reports suggested it might have been a long gun, but according to James Gray, that witness you just heard there, it was not. It was a handgun, but this individual just kept firing, seemingly random in that elevator lobby after shooting a woman outside. We're going to continue to try to find some people that are gathered here. We've got some.
You guys notice how Chicago, you get no witnesses to these things?
We've been watching
all these other cities, there's always a couple people that can grab. Chicago, they mind their own business. We don't know nothing.
Sort of putting them there, obviously, because these are individuals who still need care.
I like this. This guy can't find nothing but one person. The rest don't want to talk on TV. Now we're out here. I love Chicago. We're not going to talk. Now, they do have witnesses. I heard that the police have people to talk to, but they don't want to be on TV. The main light of that, it's not what I meant to do. But that way that one witness said, or the only witness for the news said that the guy shot 3 rounds and then stood over her and shot 3 more, or 6 more, did he say? We'll watch it again in a minute. That sounds personal unless the guy is just crazy, which could be the one nowadays. And then it looks like the officer may have been shot by his car. He was probably parked out there doing probably paperwork or something. And here's the commotion. The guy ends up turning on in. It's probably, I don't know where her car is. They're not showing where the other crime scene is. So unless it's right there, but they said she was getting into her car. Yeah, somebody there's described. See the officer there's pointing around. He's telling a detective, it looks like. Probably where they found Lane or something. He looks like he's trying to show where everything was at. It's kind of it's like my second live video I've done on breaking news. And unfortunately, I can't do any good breaking news. I've been trying to find it, and I actually want to build a channel around it, and I can't. I don't know. Even when you're trying to find good news to put out there, it's you keep running into this stuff. The Chicago police are going to be doing a press conference soon from the University of Chicago Hospital. That's where they took the police officer. So as soon as it switches over to that, I'll kick the volume back up. She's just going to keep hearing them repeat the same thing. It's mostly me repeating what I don't know about either. And again, we're only seeing what they're showing us right here. It's limited what we know. So there's only one witness that's been on the news so far that I could see. And that's the Chicago way. Keep your mouth shut. Yeah, that's a big hospital there. That's only a few blocks away from, that's it, I think, 20, what did they say, 26, 29. That's the next major hospital past University of Chicago, so they go north from there. And is it 20 blocks? 20 blocks? See, 2 miles? 2-3 miles. I don't want to pull up Google Maps. I don't want to read my computer here. I'm working on a story. Speaking of that, it's to deal with the California incident and how history is repeating itself. What, 2 years? And people already forgot about the first time this kind of thing happened. So what is happening, I don't know. But I can show you what is not being allowed to be seen. And that's where I always start with these things. It's not, you fall into it when they're hiding stuff. Oh, here's that camera.
God intervened, was able to get everybody safe, and that's about all I have to say. All right, I'm Cole. I'm going to go
Sir, just one more time, because we're live on ABC7 right now. Take us from the beginning, your account of what you experienced, where you were when the shots began.
I was in the ER. We was told that something happened terrible outside, and our first goal was to start getting patients out of the rooms. and I grabbed who I could, took them to safety, and locked them in. And that's when I just heard, you know, the noise from behind the doors and everything.
You locked people in. To describe the effort to try to just protect people.
I mean, it was a scary situation to bring them out because CPD was doing their job, and you don't know if that shooter was down the hall or not. And you know, but you had to put the blinders on and just keep moving forward, and that's what I did.
And where is the ER in relation to where those shots were fired?
I don't know where the shots were fired, so I don't know. All I heard was noise.
There was chaos. I mean, describe the chaos inside that ER at the time.
Like I said, you let an elephant or a zebra loose in the zoo, I mean, it's going to be a lot of chaos. Everybody's going to run for the gates.
Sir, what's your name? What do you do?
My name is Clarence Smith. I'm an ER setter.
Clarence Smith?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank y'all.
Clarence Smith.
ENC. Thank y'all.
Eyewitness accounts from another person from Mercy Hospital. It is striking, as he was saying, if you have been watching the live pictures along with us from Chopper 7 HD, as the employees and the staff and perhaps even some patients are evacuating, you do notice none of them have their coats on. They are being told to get out probably as fast as they can. They came out with their hands above their heads. They are cold. They don't have their jackets, and they are being walked to hopefully those buses where they can stay warm for the time being.
Confirmation, 2 are dead at Mercy Hospital, including the suspected shooter. The I-team saying Chicago police are confirming that for us. A Chicago police officer shot in extremely critical condition has been taken in an ambulance with a police escort to the University of Chicago Hospital.
Look at all those squads now. Chicago blue lights right there.
In this, initially, of course, we were told multiple people shot. A few minutes ago, we said 2 dead, and now we're also being told 2 are in very critical condition. That would mean that at the end of the day, this would be an incident in which 4 people were shot, a number that would include the shooter himself, who, as we've said, is dead.
They're saying the gunman's dead.
All right, Chuck, getting some new information there. 2 dead, including the shooter, but also we're hearing some other
2 are in critical condition, including the Chicago
I haven't heard that on my end, but they got more researchers than I do, so we'll go channel ABC Chicago.
That is probably going to happen at any moment now. Chicago police telling us that they will be holding this just outside of University of Chicago hospitals. That is where the injured Chicago police officer, at this point we only know that it was a male police officer who was shot in critical condition. That is where that officer has been taken, University of Chicago hospitals. So we are awaiting this press briefing to find out exactly what transpired here.
We've been on the air with breaking news for a little more than an hour now. A shooting at Mercy Hospital. If you have loved ones who work at Mercy, someone who's being treated there, there's an area 27th and Martin Luther King Drive, not far from the hospital, where some family can go. We're trying to get more information on what they're going to do with people in the hospital, but it's been a slow trickle of getting people, the people who can get out on their own, to come out of Mercy Hospital. Police guarding them on buses and trying to piece together details from those witnesses who were coming outside.
Let's see what else is going on there. Very good point, keeping in mind that this is a hospital, so medical care still has to go on even as this incident is unfolding. So you continue to see all the emergency vehicles there, and just a short time ago we were still seeing people being escorted out with their hands above their heads. So again, at this point, our last word is still that Chicago police are methodically going through every room and every floor just to make sure that there's no one else injured. Even though it was a single shooter and that gunman is now dead, but they're still going through the hospital compound to make sure that there's no one else hiding and needing to be escorted out.
There was a lot of gunfire. Witnesses outside reported hearing 10 to 20 shots as this suspected gunman, I mean, they witnessed him doing this, as this gunman shot at a police squad car. Several witnesses described hearing 24 shots, and this was outside Mercy Hospital. That's the police command center vehicle there that will go to these scenes, and so it looks like it will be there for some time. Chopper 7 HD showing you that. And then witnesses inside heard 6 to 8 shots, recall that pop, pop, pop. Yeah, you just can't imagine. It's not something when you're going to the hospital that you think you're going to be a part of. And you could hear that from those witnesses talking to Eric. Many just trying to piece together what the heck they just witnessed, and also providing us some really important information.
Okay, I'm just hearing that we do have a live picture right now from the University of Chicago hospitals. Again, this is where we believe
they're probably getting ready for the press conference. This is the hospital 2 miles up the road that they took the officer to.
Police will be holding their very
so they must have an update on his condition. So
that should be happening at any moment now. Of course, when that happens, we will carry it live right here.
Yeah, our crew's just getting there. So as you see some of these live pictures, they might be a little blurry, a little out of focus. This is real time. This is happening right now, and so we're waiting for Chicago police. There's a heavy presence there. You saw some brass a little bit farther down the street there. So we're locked down in this outside this hospital, waiting for what we believe is a news briefing from the Chicago Police Department. We reported earlier, Mayor Rob Emanuel and Superintendent Eddie Johnson were at emergency headquarters. That might change.
I imagine they're making their way there.
You've seen that large police vehicle at Mercy. Superintendent Johnson almost immediately goes, unfortunately we've done this before when an officer was shot, he will go to the hospital likely immediately, and that's where I bet we hear from him as he updates the condition of his officer and tells us what the heck happened.
And he will always want to speak with the family members first, and so you have this sort of pause right now of information. I'm looking at the very last update coming from the spokesperson with CPD was about 44 minutes ago. There's a reason for that, so there's this pause right now. They're waiting to hear an update on the condition of this police officer. Of course, the superintendent will want to speak with family members before he comes on the air and speaks with all of us, and we completely understand that, so we will continue to be on standby and await this information.
Eric Kong has been at the scene at Mercy Hospital for some time talking to witnesses. We want to go back out and see what he has for us, Eric.
Yeah, Robin Judy, still a dynamic.
Well, that was interesting. That's the second time today I've lost the computer.
Witnesses have been
Let me double check and make sure everything's back online. Hang on.
Harrowing moments around 3 o'clock here at Mercy Hospital. Multiple encounters with gunfire, multiple episodes in multiple parts of the hospital, inside, outside, the gunman shooting at staff and patients, the gunman shooting at police officers. And so we're going to just sort of play a little bit of some of the harrowing accounts that we're hearing from people who are here at Mercy Hospital.
We heard about 20, 30 shots just coming from that direction. Saw a couple of
He's saying 20 or 30. Sound like 8 shots at a time, 7 or 8. Reloaded a couple times outside.
20 feet from where that shooting happened, we heard the gunshots from outside, and then we were told, like, run to the back, lock the doors. And our clinic is basically right there where they were shooting. And we heard, like, I heard like several gunshots, like maybe 8 or 9. I heard first 3 pop, pop, pop. Then I heard the next 4 pop, 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 pop.
I think the building is pretty clear.
Everybody closed the doors.
The gentleman started shooting at the squad car, so they backed up. And then after that, I was telling security to call for police to get more police here. And he came into the hospital and just started shooting people randomly.
We've been talking to staff members who have come out here after after being evacuated from the hospital, we've been seeing a lot of people hugging, staff members reunited with loved ones after the situation, and those loved ones obviously relieved that their relatives, their family members are safe at this time. We've been seeing those kind of reunions here outside the hospital. We've been asking some of those staff members if they had perhaps trained for this kind of active shooter situation. Some of them said that they had received some sort of a training in this kind of episode, but never really thought that something like this might happen. Still obviously stunned, shocked that gunfire did end up being fired here at the hospital. I talked to one woman, a cancer patient here by the name of Tracy Lyons, who described, she's come here to Mercy Hospital for treatment over the years now. She says she has survived cancer on multiple occasions and has now survived this episode, this encounter with gunfire with an active shooter, and says that she thanks God for everything that took place today. She prays for the victims, but just is so relieved that she was able to make it out here alive. We're live right now at Mercy Hospital. I'm going to send it back to you.
All right, Eric. Here's what we can report for you. If you're just joining us, a shooting at Mercy Hospital. 4 people shot, 2 are dead, including the shooter. A Chicago police officer also shot, transported to U of C Hospital.
And Chuck Hagel continues to watch all of this with us with new information from the newsroom. Chuck.
Judy, as we suggested a few minutes ago, based on how this looked and how it was playing out, and the fact that we haven't heard any gunshots in well over an hour, Mercy Hospital officials are now confirming that the incident that occurred there is over, that the police have determined that the hospital itself is safe, and that they have cleared it. The actual wording from Mercy is, a shooting took place at Mercy Hospital and Medical Center this afternoon. The shooting at Mercy Hospital is over. Chicago Police Department has secured the hospital and patients are safe. Of course, that's not before this gunman was killed. Another person was shot and killed as well, and 2 are in critical condition, as we await some official word as to what prompted it and how it all unraveled.
Okay, Chuck, thank you for that official word. Again, as you heard, Mercy Hospital now confirming that the incident is over. That's on their campus, that the campus has been secured after this methodical surge by Chicago police officers. So that is a live picture you're looking at of Mercy right now. Chopper 7 HD has been on the scene since all of this unfolded just before 3:30 this afternoon. So at this moment, we are still awaiting the very first press briefing by Chicago PD on the condition of the police officer.
They've set a staging area over at the University of Chicago.
Just waiting for the press conference here, and then I'll be logging it out. Everything is under control. When you need them, they show up. And take care. And look at this picture. They take care of business. Look at these guys and women. Unreal. Chicago don't play, man. You see these things happening all over the country, but look, they got this thing wrapped up in an hour and 20 minutes. It's already, they're wrapping up and getting ready for dinner. So you don't play around when you're up here. So as soon as this press conference goes, we'll get some facts off the case, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Another, I think it is a mass shooting if there's 4 people. I think you need 3. I don't know what the rules are anymore. They change everything all the time. But I would call it that, just from a common sense point of view. But I'm listening to a radio. That's why I get delayed here. I'm listening to what they're talking about on the inside of the building. I'm pretty sure they're pretty much done. They're just verifying everything's cleared up inside. But look at that picture right there. Look at all those squad cars. They got the command bus down there. I mean, these guys don't play, man. Look at this. So let's hope the officer, the 2 other people in critical condition, pulled through. And probably the first victim that we heard described is probably one of the unfortunate victims here. That just didn't sound right. There's no other witnesses that came on the news to describe what happened. Something happened in the parking lot. See, the news is down there. I don't know what channel that is. Somebody down there talking to somebody. Hang on. Oh, hang on. Let's see. Maybe this guy's got some news here. Hang on.
Mercy Hospital and heard all reporting about how the situation is over. It took us the better part of an hour to move all the way around the perimeter on foot with all of our equipment, because that's how big the perimeter was here. That's the level of the police presence and federal presence that had been going to the situation. So we were where Eric was earlier when the sun was still shining. As you say, the sun has just come down. This is the area I'm just at, basically at 27th and King Drive, and this is the area that we had heard is the staging area for where families would be able to be reunited. We get over here after that long walk, and we do not see any indication of that. As you take a look here, there's the hospital, and from the backside here, if you will, a lot of police presence.
They tricked the news? Oh, no.
I talked to those officers that are just in the laneway over there, and they weren't able to say to me whether there's going to be any family reunifications or anything else right now. So there is a bit of a gap of information.
The families are meeting somewhere else. They're not meeting outside.
It is good news indeed to hear
I'm not saying where.
Is over for now. Back to you guys in the studio.
Okay, everybody's on the east side of Mercy, which would be the opposite side of what you're looking at right there.
And our coverage, of course, continues right now. And Chuck Gowdy, once again, in the newsroom. So we're hearing there's numbers of people dead, 2 in critical condition. Is that holding?
I like how she just rolls it up. I can't say it like that.
Immediately until there
these pros, give them credit for that. It feels weird just to say that.
This afternoon, when there were reports coming in of shots fired at the Mercy Hospital Center on the south side of Chicago, initially the police flooding that zone alarmed.
Initially, they still are.
Reports of an active shooter at that time.
Unless that's toy cars.
Witnesses say that the gunman in the parking lot was seen firing at a woman who had been forced to the ground, and then, in what may be considered the worst-case scenario for hospital security, the man retreats inside the hospital, where the shots continue to be fired. According to witnesses who were on the scene, there were multiple shots fired, many shots fired.
Now this is a gun-free zone. Whoa, how can we have shots fired? There's a gun-free zone. That's a hospital. You're in Chicago.
Briefing from them very shortly.
How is this even happening?
A Chicago police officer who was responding to the scene. Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson at this hour has left Chicago Police Headquarters. We believe he is destined for University of Chicago Hospital, where that officer was taken. An unusual situation. People shot and wounded at a hospital.
Right there is where the first that officer was shot, right here. His clothes are still on the ground. Somebody's clothes are. I don't know if it's that actual officer, but that's a bulletproof vest, that white vest right there, and there's 2 blue shirts or 1 cut in half. And this car pulled up to give cover because the shooter was probably over there. See how he's got him blocked in to give his partner cover. So I think this officer was the one they said was arriving. He probably took on gunfire as he pulled up. This guy saw the guy down. This officer's a hero right here, right out of the gate. You can tell what he was doing right there. Nobody's going to be able to tell you this because they don't know how a cop thinks. That's why that squad car is parked like that. I'll give you 99% wise. He saved that guy from taking on more gunfire. He's going to turn out that cop saved his life.
This afternoon at Mercy, those people needed to be taken to safety as well, and many of them were put into Chicago Fire Department ambulances and taken to hospitals nearby so that they could be taken out of harm's way. It was a massive police response to this, as you might imagine. Teams of officers going floor to floor, room to room, clearing.
And now, folks, everybody's got to stop all this division and not liking this and that.
There were no additional people who were shot.
I hear all these videos, a handful of officers that do, some of them are acting like idiots, but most of them, it's only because they haven't been trained well yet. It takes a long time to learn how to be a good cop. You don't cookie cutter cut them out of an academy and all of a sudden you have a cop. That's why you have them with elder cops, older ones. But it's a young man's or young person's job. Women too. You know what I mean? So you have to have these young officers to do the dirty work.
In the Bronzeville neighborhood, but the bottom line is at this point we know that
heavy, hard physical work, but at the same time, you need wisdom to how do you weigh that out. That's where the problem comes in, and then there's other issues that maybe fog that up depending on each district, let's say, style. That's the part that makes the public not understand, and that's, I think, something that down the road we got to get back to the old school community policing, where you had officers that would get out of the car, would wave at people, would say hi, get out and go to the little barbecues in the ghetto and talk to the kids and the people and the neighbors doing that. All right, hang on. Let's see what this guy's got to say.
Yeah, Cheryl, as we await more official information from CPD, we've been relying on multiple witnesses, people that have been coming out of Mercy Hospital, to give us an account of what they experienced inside and outside that hospital. I just ran into this individual, Dennis Burke. You live.
Look at that truck number 16. This is number 7. Here we go. That's going to be picked up.
I was coming home from lunch, from work.
Is he reading something?
Right as I pulled up on this bus stop here, we look out the windows of the bus and we saw about 4 or 5 cop cars right outside Mercy and Stratford 26th Street. A gentleman on the bus says, watch out, the guns are drawn. So I started recording from the bus, and as I literally was stepping onto the sidewalk pavement, I heard 6 or 7 shots, pop, pop, pop. I dropped my grocery bags on the sidewalk and told the man, let's seek cover. And so we sped off to the side. I kept recording, and I heard 6 more shots.
He kept recording them. Don't stop recording. You're being shot at. Don't stop recording, man. Get that coverage.
I could not tell who was shooting or what was being shot.
Let's see your video.
I could only hear the
maybe you caught it on camera, dude. You couldn't tell.
On the entrance of Mercy.
Did you see the gunman get shot at this point, or did you see anyone get shot at the scene?
I didn't personally see anybody get shot, but as I was out here,
I smell something wrong.
I observed everything that was happening.
He's stuttering, prick. What's going on
here? Gurney right to the corner here, and they were trying to resuscitate the person, and they were surrounded by medical professionals.
You saw the victims, at least some of the victims, being treated here at the scene.
That's what it looked like, yes.
Describe that effort to try to save lives here at Mercy Hospital.
Oh, it was unbelievable. I could almost make
put the camera back on him. I want to see his expression. What are you doing?
This person, it was just rattling.
He starts stuttering and forgetting his words. And you take the camera off? Oh, come on. This is come on. I hate even to think this way. Why are you doing this?
I can't believe that something like that would happen so close to where
With the credibility of news right now, why would you even place any kind of doubt anywhere?
Enforcement in Chicago was converging on this area. I mean, I felt like it was in a movie or something, and I actually worked.
Felt like I was in a movie. This sounds like bullshit.
It felt like it was.
He's talking too much.
To hear that a police officer is among the victims.
That is horrible. I mean, anybody getting shot is, it's all just.
I can't wait till a search of these images are dug up tomorrow, or probably even later tonight, by the sleuths on the internet. This is going to be popping up somewhere. IMBD or whatever it is when you get your acting account.
You heard some of that gunfire coming out. We're going to actually speak to you to try to get perhaps.
Yeah, touch them. Make it look all real. Yep, there you go.
We've been hearing from multiple witnesses leaving the
multiple witnesses? You only got 2 in the last hour and a half.
around 3 o'clock here at Mercy Hospital.
Number 7 behind it. Oh, come on, man. I don't even want to hear this shit.
Outside the hospital. A deadly encounter, I shouldn't say
5, 7, 4, and 1. Come on. Give me some good numbers. Roll them dice, baby. Roll!
Speaking with some witnesses out here, I'm going to toss it back to you guys now.
Toss it back.
Thank you
Like
so
a football
much.
game.
Watching those and talking to those people who witnessed all of this, we can't imagine what they went through this afternoon. Just between 3
Yeah, that guy was telling them about a whole story or something. I don't know.
that incident is over. We got to tell you that in terms of Mercy Hospital, obviously they've been through
There's
an
number 1.
folks, I mean, an emotional trauma now. The people who work there and those who were at the hospital at the time, but they managed in a relatively short period of time to evacuate that hospital as best as they could, and then police, of course, moving in and searching through that hospital complex to make sure that there was nothing more going on there, that there was not, for instance, perhaps another shooter on the property, which there was not, as far as we know.
Several people did think it was.
Right.
Several shooters.
Well, the volume of gunshots that we're hearing described here is incredible, and it's difficult to know.
It's incredible.
Shots were fired. I will tell you that I see.
What's incredible about it?
The Federal Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms are going to be assisting with this investigation as well. They may provide some assistance there. Chuck Dowd is in the newsroom. Chuck, you've been watching this all unfold.
And we're still waiting for some official word from law enforcement, notably Chicago Police. The superintendent had been with Mayor Rahm Emanuel at police headquarters when this started to unfold. They monitored from there, and at least the superintendent is headed toward University of Chicago Hospital now. The officer who was shot in this incident was taken. It's not surprising that the ATF would be involved in this, but what was most notable about it is that they recovered the gun quickly, and there will be a very fast-paced background search done on that gun to determine who owned it, how it was obtained, whether it was legal. At this point, of course, not that any of that matters except from a law enforcement standpoint to try to determine whether or not anyone else was involved, whether anyone else should be held accountable for that gun ending up in that man's hands today being used in the way it was.
Chuck, if you're describing the immediate sequence of what happened there this afternoon, it seems as you were
Start watching the front door of the hospital. Something's about to come outside here. Hang on.
Itself, but do we know where the police officer became involved in all of this?
We don't know for certain, Alan. It does appear that it came down the way you just described it. At least
it's a big. Okay, it's a group of people they found. Hang on.
That the initial shots were fired in a parking lot with the shooter being seen by witnesses pointing a gun at a woman and shooting her to the ground, and then he goes inside the hospital and continues shooting at that point. So we know at least that one woman was shot and wounded on the scene outside, and that the man, the shooter,
that's interesting.
In between both of those things, I think it's a matter of nuance, and we'll have to leave it up to law enforcement to explain the chronology of it.
Well, Chuck, some of the eyewitnesses said it seemed like the shooter was firing
Somebody
shots.
keeps playing music over the emergency radio.
There was an intentional target in the female that was shot and killed here this afternoon. Also, we need to say that the National Teacher Academy, which is just around from the hospital, is on a soft lockdown at this hour. No one coming in or going out of that.
Somebody's playing music over the police radio, covering up the officers.
And of course, that is a residential area, so when shots were fired out in the
I'm recording it. I'll see if I can play it later.
Into the hospital, there was a lot of panic, and a lot of panic for the employees, some who do not know if the shooter has been contained. They are still on lockdown in some bathrooms. Some people are in operating rooms. We just don't know the enormity of this because it is a hospital. A lot of the employees and some patients who were in the emergency room were walking out with their hands up for at least an hour. We saw that when it was daylight. Then it became dark over that area when the sun was setting, and you could see employees and people still inside the hospital coming out and exiting the hospital with their hands
There
up.
should be a group about to come out now with the SWAT team.
Of experience, just what you're talking about there. One person who was
And I think the building will be done. They've already cleared it, so it's not any secret stuff. It's already been cleared. I'm just letting you know, if they show the front door, you see a bunch of people and guns, that's what it is.
Concerned about your patients than yourself.
Now they're playing pornography over the police radio.
I have 4 with me.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
What happened? Where'd they go?
Wheelchair, one was in a wheelchair, and I got him out.
I can't believe this.
Put him in a car. Patient,
It's a porno movie being played over the radio. Holy cow!
Police got everybody else to say.
You can just hear that man's voice, a medical professional there at Mercy.
That's really strange.
Going down, working with 4 patients, he alone, taking care of those 4 patients. These are people who give care all the time to individuals. It's their life's work. And here in a very urgent emergency situation, they are forced into an entirely role, which is to make sure that those patients that might be just nearby, they might even be somebody they're directly caring for, but they become their caretakers and helping, as you mentioned, one individual man who was in a wheelchair, getting him out of that hospital to a safe area outside, so that they would be out of any threat.
Somebody is transmitting. He's doing it again after they just edged the radio. Holy cow!
In an emergency situation where they had to transport many of the people and patients and employees to other hospitals.
Oh man, somebody's in big trouble.
The hospital as the evacuation was taking place. We are about 15 minutes.
Somebody is interfering with live emergency traffic. This is another breaking story. I can't play it because I don't know if I'm allowed to, but so I'm not gonna. But I have it in case I can later. I'm new at this, so I don't know what I can play live or not. But somebody keeps interfering with the police officers trying to talk to each other during a crisis, which is over right now. Just so we're clear, it's not an active mass shooting anymore. It's just the guy's dead. But the point is, this is still going on. This is still police radio. And some guy is on the radio. They were playing parts of a movie before. Like I said, I couldn't tell what the clip was, but then you could actually hear that it turned to dirty movie, or pornography, or whatever you call it, and certain noises that are made.
She was one of 2 women who were shot, according to the other woman, as well as the police officer who was shot, were taken to the University of Chicago Hospital. The gunman was shot dead at the scene. We have not been able to get an update from Northwestern Hospital as to that woman's status. Last listed from the fire department, though, extremely critical condition. We're working to get you an update on that. That's what we know here from Northwestern.
All right, Craig, and just to underline just something here, to your knowledge, the fire department's not telling you that they brought anyone else to Northwestern University, to Northwestern Memorial this afternoon. Is that correct?
No. No, it's just that one woman who was shot. And I asked the fire department, I said, was she the woman who was shot inside? Do we know anything about whether she was an employee, whether she was a patient or a visitor, or what? And they did not have any of that information for me at this time, but we'll see what we can find out.
All right, Craig, and the female that was brought to Northwestern Hospital, we're told, was in traumatic arrest, now in critical condition at Northwestern Hospital. We're also told that the Chicago police officer who was injured at Mercy Hospital was transported in ambulance number 41 to the University of Chicago Hospital. Of course, Stroger is a trauma center as well, so we're not sure if patients have been taken there. University of Chicago, we've got Northwestern, and we don't
got some of the best hospitals in the world right here.
Have been shot at this hour, but what we do know is that 2 people are dead, including the gunman. 4 people have been shot.
This is the south side of Chicago.
Around 3:30 this afternoon at Mercy.
The heart of the south side. What you see in movies, this is it right here, people.
Has been covering this story live from the newsroom all afternoon and getting details.
This is the part of Chicago you gotta have a good.
We've been trying to figure out what the initial incident was that may have led to all of this playing out in a relatively short period of time. It would certainly appear that what happened in the parking lot was not random or accidental, that there was some kind of an encounter, at least between 2 people who knew each other. We're trying to work through the details of who they were and exactly what that was. What happened after that
I want to hear this.
Would appear to have been more random, or at least more spontaneous, with after shooting the woman in the parking lot, the gunman retreats into the hospital where he is still shooting, and that's where additional people were shot and wounded, where he was also shot and killed, and where the lockdown went into effect, and then of course the eventual evacuation of people leaving the hospital. So those are key elements that we're trying to work through, and that we expect Chicago police to offer some detail on as soon as they hold a briefing on this.
As we're hearing you describe this, we can only in our minds imagine what's going on there in terms of the horror in that hospital as a gunman breaks in, or I should say breaks in, but bursts in rather, through an entranceway at some point, starts shooting people inside, and what must have been going on there. This type of situation where you have one incident on the outside, then it transfers to an inside location where you have a capacity there for so many people to be hurt. It's almost astonishing that this isn't worse at this point. We know that 4 people were shot, of course.
Let's go live now to Eric Hong. He has been covering the story outside of Mercy Hospital. He has an update for us. Eric.
Cheryl, minutes ago we were told by Mercy Hospital officials that the hospital has been cleared by Chicago police after a room-to-room search to make sure that the danger has abated. During the course of the evacuation, we had patients being taken out of the hospital. They were put on warming buses here on the perimeter of the hospital. We believe that those patients are now perhaps being brought back into the medical facility because despite the horror that has happened here, this is a working hospital. There are patients that rely on care here at the hospital, and those patients continue to need that medical care despite this tragedy that has taken place. As we await that briefing at University of Chicago Hospital, we've been just relying on witness statements here, people screaming out of the hospital, telling us exactly what they saw, what they heard, reporting multiple episodes of gunfire, as many as 20 shots in the parking lot at one point here at Mercy Hospital. One witness describing a handgun that was used in this attack. He describes it as a 9mm handgun. Initial reports suggested perhaps a long gun, but this particular witness saying a 9mm handgun. But again, we've been talking to multiple witnesses. We're going to let you listen to them right now.
I was getting ready to get discharged from the hospital. We heard some gunshots in the parking lot. There was a body already laying on the ground. So I guess that was the first shot that we heard. He must have shot her or him. If they going to work or coming back from work, I don't know which one it was. And he was shooting at the police. Then he reloaded his gun and turned around and shot again because whoever it was must have been moaning or something, so I'm going to put you out your misery. That's how he probably was thinking. And he shot whoever it was twice again. That's how it actually happened. While she was on the ground. While she was on the ground, yeah.
Again, Mercy Hospital opened at this hour for patients, opening in just the last few minutes after a room-to-room search. That's the latest here at Mercy Hospital. Going to send it back to you now.
Eric, thanks so much, and a very graphic explanation there from that one witness as to what he saw out there in the parking lot. I want to go to our Chuck Gowdy in our newsroom. Chuck, you have some new information for us?
Alan, as Eric was describing from that witness, the woman on the ground, we have been told, was a doctor reporting for work at Mercy Hospital.
A doctor reporting for work. Oh my God.
The doctor forced to the ground and shot, we are told, by her former fiance. That is the backstory that apparently prompted this ferocious, violent spree that then moved inside Mercy Hospital. Again, a doctor reporting for her shift at Mercy Hospital is encountered, accosted by her former fiance in the parking lot. He shoots her as she's either on the ground or being forced to the ground, and then as she lay wounded, he goes into the hospital and continues shooting.
Just get clarification on that, because initially it was a little bit unclear myself. You're saying that the word that we're receiving is that the gunman in this case is a doctor's former fiance who shot the doctor in the parking lot?
That's correct. The doctor is a woman. She is showing up for her shift at Mercy Hospital. Her former fiance, a man, arrives with a gun, has this violent encounter with her in the parking lot, shoots her, and then goes into the hospital and continues shooting.
And then that's when people were saying that the shooting was random once you got inside. Eyewitnesses who were inside the hospital said it appeared that once he got inside.
I'm just testing my audio. Sorry about that.
I just did get a text from an employee who was hiding in a bathroom. She is now out of the bathroom and talking to police, only to learn that one of her former colleagues has been killed by, according to you, Chuck, and what you're learning by her former fiance. Some people did say that it appeared that the gunman had chosen his victim specifically at first in the parking lot, and then when he moved inside the hospital, it became random shooting. And according to the gentleman that Eric just interviewed, he talked about how the gunman looked at the first person that he shot, the doctor, according to you, Chuck, and then shot the person.
where that police officer is currently being treated. What is the situation there?
In the lobby of University of Chicago, where the Chicago Police Department is setting up for a news conference. As you can imagine, outside there is a heavy police presence, lots of police officers on the corner out here. The only information we have gotten about this police officer was an initial tweet that came out from the Chicago Police Department that he came here in very critical, or he came here in critical condition. That is the only thing we have gotten so far. Obviously, we are waiting for this press conference to begin around 5:30, 5:45 to get the very latest information about the police officer and also about the entire incident. Obviously, all we've been hearing about the incident are from witnesses on the scene. Hopefully, we can get a more clear picture when the Chicago Police Department has a news conference here. Obviously, Chicago Police Superintendent Eddie Johnson will be here to talk. Again, it should begin around 5:30, 5:45. That's the very latest from here in the lobby of University of Chicago Hospital. Sarah Schulte, ABC 7 Eyewitness News. Back to you guys.
Sarah, let me just ask you while you're there, and I fully am aware that you may not be in an area where others may be arriving at the hospital to see on the condition of this critically wounded officer. What is the situation outside the hospital, for instance, with other police officers arriving or family members, whomever, who may be interested in that person's outcome?
Yeah, Alan, it's hard because we're in a lobby right across the street from the emergency room. Right on the corner of the emergency room, there are just several police officers gathering. It's hard to see whether there are officers going in or if there are family members going in from where we are. All we can see is just a large group of police officers, which is really the case in a lot of these situations when officers are involved in shootings.
Sure. So, Sarah, are you hearing if any more victims have been brought to the University of Chicago Hospital at all?
We have not. All we know so far it is just that police officer. Again, hopefully we can get some of that information answered when this press conference begins.
Yeah, we have a lot of questions. Thank you, Sarah. I appreciate that. Certainly a lot of questions, and I'm sure all of you can appreciate too as you're listening in that we're getting information from different sources here, and sometimes it's difficult to do to figure out in terms of numbers. Let's just talk about that. Who was taken where and what their conditions might be at the moment. If we can lay it out for you as best as we know it right now, as you see on your screens, at least 2 people are dead at this point, and that includes the gunman who was involved in this incident. And our Chuck Gowdy is telling us that that gunman was a person, actually the former fiancé of a doctor at Mercy Hospital. According to Chuck's sources, that doctor, a female doctor who was reporting to work today and encountered her former fiancé in the parking lot, the former fiancé with the gun then shooting that doctor in the parking lot before heading inside to the hospital, and where more shots were fired. 4 people in total were shot at this point. That's what we know. Whether there were others, we're still trying to get the final count on all of that.
Two dead, including the gunman. And right now, you were talking about the shooting taking place in the parking lot. What we can tell you is that the ATF right now at this hour is conducting an urgent trace. This is what the ATF is calling it, an urgent trace on that weapon that was used in today's shooting in the parking lot at Mercy Hospital. It happened around 3:30, 3:20 this afternoon on this Monday evening. It was still daylight when the shooting took place in the parking lot of Mercy Hospital. There were patients in the emergency room. There were people also in the hospital, employees. At that time when the shooting took place, there was an emergency evacuation of the hospital. Employees, patients, and also doctors were asked to leave the hospital. They were taken onto warming buses. Now, it was a very difficult situation because some people needed medical attention as well as those who were injured in the shooting. We should note that we have also been told that the lockdown at the National Teachers Academy, that is just a few feet away from Mercy Hospital, has been lifted. And we're going to go back to the newsroom. Chuck Gowdy has an update and some new information for us tonight. Chuck.
Carol, that person in the parking lot, the woman, the doctor who was showing up for her shift and ended up being confronted by her ex-fiance, according to what we're being told. She worked in the emergency room at Mercy Hospital, and at the time she was shot, she was showing up for her shift in the ER. As we've been noting for the last several hours, one oddity of this is that they had to call ambulances in to get people out of the ER, a place where they normally bring people and treat them, because because of the danger that was involved in this. So this ER doctor is reporting for her shift in the parking lot, walking into work, confronted by her former fiance, who shoots her multiple times, we are told, and leaves her wounded in the parking lot before he walks into Mercy and continues shooting over a period of minutes. And he is shot, and a couple of other people are shot along the way.
Mentioned just a moment ago the ATF involvement. I know you said, of course, that's not unusual in a case of this type, but when it comes to tracing the gun, and it seems like in Chicago we're dealing with this on a, unfortunately, relatively consistent basis when it comes to violence of this type. But you'll recall most recently they move quickly on this type of thing. We recall last February, for instance, when Commander Paul Bauer was killed in the Loop, how quickly they traced that weapon back eventually to a man who had sold it in Madison, Wisconsin, to another individual.
Ravi has been covering this story on the east side of Mercy Hospital. He's been there for the last hour and a half. He joins us now with more information about what's happening where he is. Ravi.
Hi, Cheryl. Yes, we're here on the east side of the hospital. This it was an area where it was going to be deemed an area of family reunification over at 27th and King. That actually didn't happen. And now what we're seeing in the distance, I'll step out of the shot here. Take a look down here. That is the main entrance on the east side, and we've been seeing a steady stream of employees from the hospital finally being released. Apparently, it's a fairly long process for them to be released out of their offices and be able to come out here. We're just basically adjacent to the hospital in a park. Big employee parking lot here. Many employees passing by here, very reluctant to talk to us. They really get home. It's a cold night out here, and they are clearly shocked right down to their bones after what had happened.
All right,
and I think we may have lost Ravi's connection there. He was just explaining how the people were coming out of the hospital. Some of the employees there. This hospital going through this entire incident this afternoon. Some people, of course, were evacuated from the hospital. We saw them early coming out. We've seen that the familiar lines of individuals with their hands up in the air are coming out escorted by police officers. But there are many other people who I'm sure were inside that hospital at the time, and not to mention patients, for instance, who could not be removed from rooms in the facility as well.
And Eric Hong has been interviewing some of those patients that were discharged shortly after the shooting took place. Let's go live to Eric with an update on what's happening where he is. Eric.
Yeah, Cheryl, we've been hearing from witnesses who've been coming out of the hospital for the last couple of hours now and giving us their accounts as to what took place here at Mercy Hospital. I've got two women here who are both in.
And you heard the security guard at the front desk telling everyone to get down, and he was inside. So we have a protocol for active shooter. Close our locked. What to do? We just want. Seems like he.
I mean, how terrifying is that? You're inside. You basically barricaded yourself inside the lobby area, inside the pharmacy.
Inside the pharmacy, right in the
And he's trying to get in.
Yes, he is.
Yes. It's unreal.
It was.
And how long did that last? This encounter, as far as him trying to get in, and at some point he gave up, I imagine.
He came maybe once or twice
to the front for the door, trying to get in, because we thought he was barricaded in between the.
Inside, huddled in there at that moment.
Five
of you. And are you holding on to each other? Are you trying to put stuff against the door? What are you doing?
Just there. You know you're safe, but you're just like, oh my goodness, is this real? Because you literally hear this man shooting outside.
Shoot nobody.
Had there been training, active shooter training at the hospital?
Yes. Yes. So we knew what numbers to call. We knew where our emergency number was, and we actually called it.
Yes.
And did you ever think?
Thank God we have shutters.
We have shutters, because we were able to shut the secure shutters so nobody could come through.
But
the door is locked, always locked. If you don't have a badge to come in, you can't come in.
But again, as part of that training, you're trained to run or hide. You're hiding, and he's trying to
the
get in.
The pharmacy department's probably the safest place because, like she's saying, those aren't. He's not understanding what she's telling him. Those shutters are those metal things at like at Walmart when they close the pharmacy, the gate comes down. That's what they're behind, and it's like a bulletproof door, so you can't get in there. So they were in a safe place.
Is it maybe the longest moment of your life?
Fortunately.
The longest. We were probably in the office no more than 20 minutes. It seemed like an eternity, just waiting on somebody to come and say everything was okay.
Because we didn't even believe the police said it was the police at the back. But when it was the police, he said, anybody in there? And we didn't even want to say anything. Boss came and looked, and he found out that it was the police. He said, sit back. And then they told us, everybody out and
hands up
and run out.
And here you are now.
Yes.